You are now entering a dangerous liberty zone where God-given natural rights are held sacred and exercised. This is your warning. Tyranny, fascism, and censorship will not be tolerated. Ideas will be exchanged freely. Rigorous debate and open discourse is encouraged. If you are weak and your beliefs are fragile, you should leave now. Prepare yourself. We are now live on the Dangerous Liberty Podcast. All right, folks. Happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome to another Dangerous Liberty Podcast. We got a really great show, I think, set up for you guys. We got some great guests. It's going to be fun. It's going to be technical. It's going to be nerdy and long range, what we all love out there. Summer, how was your week?
It's good. It's gone fast so far.
Absolutely. Man, the stuff's coming up. I was just looking over in the comments. Like, we got long range coming up next month. It's coming fast. It's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. I want to say hi to everybody over in the comments. We got Jason TG sponsor. We got John Rollins. We have, who else did I see over here? Lots Michael Henn, Roland Parker. Roland Parker says, planning on coming to your long range course in August. Awesome. Sign up. Love to have you.
Those spots are almost gone. So
yep. If you're going to get in there quick. Ted Boyette, good to see you, buddy. Steve Schaefer, Ruru762, Lloyd Castleton, DJ Cavalcanti.
DJ's. I don't know if DJ's been on here before.
I don't know if he has either. It's good to see you,
good
DJ.
Good to see you, DJ. Lloyd said you guys still suck at clicking the like button. Oh, look. There he is.
we got Rueben. We'll bring him on. Rueben, we'll bring you on in just a second. You're good. I'm just glad you made it, buddy. Glad you're on there. All right, folks. So a really good show tonight. It ties into, I'm sure that you guys have seen my full review of the FIRE4000. If you haven't, make sure you go watch that. This is one of those devices where, I don't know, I guess I was expecting a lot, but it far exceeded my expectations. This thing is a super solid piece of kit. I know one of the questions, even still to this day, I think that a lot of people haven't, including myself, is like, what are all the different gadgets that it is compatible with? I think the main ones that we really care about, the Kestrels, all of those things, like what really matters, it's definitely compatible with. And but what we did is we reached out to Tango Innovations. We got a couple of their guys to come on to the show, and which I always think is great. We just had Craig Arnzen from Area 419 on yesterday and talking about how important it is for all these companies, especially in the gun community. Like, if you want to sell products, if you want to have people trust you, like, you got to have some representation out in the social spaces or in the public and be accessible. And that's one thing that I'll also tell you, as far as the dealer support, these guys have been awesome too.
Yeah,
so this has been a great product, exceeding expectations. I think it's a lot better than several of the units out there. We'll get more into that. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring on Marcos and Rue from Tango Innovations. Welcome, guys. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, everybody.
Thanks. Hey, we appreciate the warm introduction. So, Gary, Summer, happy to be here and get some time with your audience.
Awesome.
Well, you guys have a great, I was just reading through you guys' bio and resumes, and you guys are the exact right people representing this product. So if you guys will, just take a minute and introduce yourselves and tell us, Marcos, you start first. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to be working for Tango Innovations.
Yeah, great. So really fell into it kind of backwards. I feel like a lot of us do. So shooting was a passion of mine and a hobby, and I became a long-range junkie. And originally started with, hey, how do I constantly improve and partner with the right companies and feed this beast, if you will, because it is not a cheap sport, whether the classes that you take, the ammunitions, the gear that you buy. And yeah, I got linked up with Tango Innovations essentially as an R&D tester, right, originally, right, saying, hey, how do we gear this product towards the market and some of the features that we're looking at? And then from that, it really just evolved into a position because this started much smaller than it is today. And while we are still a lean team, we've got a lot of places that we still want to go with the products that we bring. So to answer your question, yeah, just a civilian competitive shooter that fell into it and found a good opportunity to turn the work into the passion. Or the passion into the work, rather.
Nice.
Awesome. Rue, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Can you guys hear me?
Sure
Yeah.
can, man. Yeah.
Rock and roll. 23-year Army veteran, 2 years retired. March. Yep, March made 2 years. So that's been a huge adjustment. I was working with my buddies over at CR2. We were all sniper instructors together. I spent 7 years teaching young men how to go forth and do the Lord's work, which, they've went all over the place globally. And that's, from all DOD and some, agencies throughout, that are civilians at Leo that we let through. So, I mean, we got to know a lot of people that way because this is this very, very, very small community.
Yep.
What was awesome was to be able to end my career with, the one thing that I've ever loved, the little boy's dream, go be a sniper, right? Well, go be a sniper instructor to where you make these snipers, like you train the next generations of pipe hitters. So at least guys, pipe hitters from the bushes. Yeah, and then all those other classes, you've seen all the stuff I sent you, man. There's so much other stuff that goes into that.
Sure.
I mean, just there's shooting, and then there's sniping, which sniping is a skill, like it's a perishable skill.
Sure.
Yeah, we're all riflemen and marksmen at this point.
100%. No, and yeah, no, and there is a big distinguish meant between all of those skill sets, right? Not all great shooters would be great snipers, and but all snipers ultimately have to at least do some shooting.
Great shooting.
Do some
Oh
pretty.
yeah. I mean, like for the guys that couldn't shoot, we just sent them over to recon. They just kind of go walked around. Here's some heavy stuff, man. See you later, dude.
You learn to dig holes and sit and watch stuff. Yeah, I actually went to Army Sniper School in 2004 in Sinjar, Iraq. It was the first MTT sniper course in a combat theater since Vietnam. So that was interesting to say the least. But no, yep. That's good stuff. So I guess kind of where I like to start, and folks, for those of you watching, we'll talk a little bit. If you guys have questions or comments, I will highlight those, but I kind of want to hold those toward the end. So do one or the other. I'll highlight them. I can go back and see the ones I highlight. So if you have questions, jump in there at any time, and they will get addressed. But I hope that you guys have seen my review on the Tango FIRE4000. And first of all, I'd like to address, was there anything that I got technically wrong or anything I left out that kind of stood out to you guys?
He's like, let me check my list. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, first of all, you put it on back.
Got this book here. It's a big black book. They ain't a little one.
No, but this setup on this was easier than I expected it to be. The last laser rangefinder, weapon mounted laser rangefinder, I had a lot of experience with. This is so much easier. It's so much easier. And again, when you compare it, one of the things I was never all that interested in was the Vortex Impact 4000. I know you guys will probably stay away from comparing to competitors, but I won't.
Hey, I'm just gonna let you know right now.
This is so much better than
that. This awesome necklace.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing's been put to sleep, dude. Right there. I've had somebody give me that. Then they threw the rest of it someplace else. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, man, I'll just wear this, dude. Yeah, that's a kill right there, dude.
Yes, and
that was my sole purpose in life, to take that turd and kick it out in the street. That thing was way too much for as ugly as it was, and it was huge.
It was huge. It was plastic. I wasn't a big fan of the Bluetooth remote. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to bash.
Right.
But I don't want to bash them either. I'm just saying,
but I will say, compared to this, for at the time, for what they were offering, the first sub 10 grand weapons mounted laser rangefinder, it was pretty good.
Great.
Compared to this, I have a hard time even comparing it to this, to be honest with you. It's on a whole nother level, to be quite frank, with the AB, with ease of use, with a really ruggedized, completely waterproof, completely all aluminum design. This is on a whole nother level as far as I'm concerned. And I'm surprised it doesn't cost more, to be honest with you.
Well, we appreciate that, Gary, and thanks for the kind words. And to Rue's point, so the beauty of Rueben is, and why we need him in engineering, So that dude doesn't pull any punches. He'll let us know when the baby's ugly or we're doing something stupid. But at the same time, we look at what Vortex did, right? Not that we want to throw stones, but if they did some things really well. And I think the biggest thing that they did effectively is they opened the market to civilian shooters, right?
Yeah.
Where there's a product that was sub $10,000 that shooters like myself or Rue or yourself, because that was really it, unless you wanted to have a very large payment on a piece of gear that only did just that. At the same time, because they were first, there was a lot of lessons learned that we were actually able to parlay into things that we didn't have to learn, right? So improvements that we had got to make in our product that we're grateful for. So the way that I would compare it is as we know, technology gets better and better, right? If we look at thermals, what we could get today versus what we could get 10 years ago, it's apples and oranges. And that same level of advancement is starting to happen on the LRFs. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, you would be fools not to take the lessons from the products that came before you and use those to develop something better.
Yeah, and we've been kind of having that discussion. I've been reviewing the Athlon Rangecraft the last few days, and there's, one of the videos I had, all these people were kind of bashing Garmin a little bit, like, oh, it's so expensive. Well, no, it was a lot cheaper than what was available at first, which was the Lab Radar, which, by the way, I pulled that out today.
Yeah.
I was using that on the range today. That lasted like 5. I was like, because there was a lot of people. I was doing additional testing on the Rangecraft, but there was a lot of people in the last test. Like, oh, hey, I would like. And I asked them like, what other tests would you guys like to see? And one of them, people kept bringing up the Lab Radar. I was like, fine, I'll pull this stupid thing out.
Oh.
And then I put it up, set it up. It like missed the first 2 shots. I was like, no, we're done. We're done.
That thing's got got a front sight post on it. You're like, oh yeah. All right.
Not only does that have a front sight post, but I actually bought one of the video. We used to be a Lab Radar dealer, and I think technically we still are. They just haven't any products that I would get behind right now. But Lab Radar, the MKM made a really nice sight that you put on top of there that actually made it to where, instead of trying to put the pin body up there and look through the tube. So anyways, point being is that Garmin wasn't that expensive, and all the advancements, and I've literally talked to Athlon guys about this. They're like, yeah, like we capitalize on some of the things that they got right. Sure. And it's the same thing with what Vortex did, right? I'm sure you guys like, hey, this is what works, this is what doesn't work. And
you're absolutely right. I mean, and it's funny you bring up the Lab Radar and Garmin, right? Because we've heard that analogy that this product is the Garmin to the Lab Radar, because the Lab Radar was the gold standard because it was the only standard, right? Not that they didn't do that big old clunky thing, didn't do a great job. They absolutely did at the time until something else had opportunities. But to your point, one of the biggest things that we saw, and I've got a lot of buddies that I've run Vortexes right at the time. To learn more about them. One of the biggest things that we learned from them was cold weather testing, right? Hey, how do we want to perform in cold weather in that 20-degree range, not the 15 or 5 degree, because there's not a whole lot of electronics that work too good. And I myself, I don't work too good in 5 degrees.
Me either.
And was our VFD display, right? The automotive style display that can take cold. So, but all of those things, right? We wouldn't have known those were problems unless there was market feedback saying, hey, we don't like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. And this thing, like I said, it's setup was easy. I did have to play around with it, and I'll throw a caveat into that. I did have to play around with the BC. I mean, the same problems or the same challenges that you're going to have with any ballistic solver or with AB. AB is, I think, the best out there by far. But even when I pull up my Kestrel or I pull up AB Quantum over here, you still have to true out some things typically.
Right. I can count on one hand how many times that custom drag curve, but I apologize for interrupting you. But I can count on one hand.
I got a whole string on that thing because I got a few problems that we've identified, and even well before doing this, that as a community we have issues with. And I want to bring that up and to be like, hey, let's address those and just bring them out now, and versus just technical stuff, right? So that's going to help, all of us as a community is, what things we produce, 2, how we use them, and 3, the results we get.
Yeah. And the knowledge of the equipment, because that's just the fact that it's great that AB is in this device, but AB in of itself is kind of a like you got to know AB, and
Absolutely.
if you don't know AB to begin with, and you go in here, well, now you just kind of tripled your challenges, right? Because now you got to learn the hardware as well as learning the software and how those two things could complement each other and or work against each other. So real quick, I think starting off with a positive note is let's cover the things that this is compatible with, will link up to immediately. We got the Kestrel. The one question I've heard a lot, I just want to confirm, and I've already heard you guys say it, but the Calypso, this definitely works with Calypso, right?
That's correct.
What other devices are out there that this is going to basically natively work with immediately?
Yeah, so great question. So essentially, one of the biggest advantages of working with applied ballistics is getting access to that applied ballistics ecosystem and their entire portfolio, but it comes on in phases, right? They don't navigate it's not a switch that you flip to everything happens. So what it runs with today is going to be all versions of your Kestrel that are running applied within the external mode, and then the Garmin 701, both versions. I think there's a 701 and a 901. The tactics at the moment is not there, but again, the beauty of AB is that it will be in the future. And then the Calypso. Those are the devices that we are running right now. Rue, am I missing any? Is there any that
So we
that I have
covered
left out?
what? Both the Kestrels, right? So we got the regular,
Kestrels, the Garmin
the
701,
regular
901,
5700. I got the X over here someplace right here behind me. I've got the Garmin 901, which you were talking about, Mr. Gary. It won't hook up to a HUD. Here's your HUD, and it's on your wrist.
Yeah.
And I also have, what's that right there? What is that?
That's a temperature sensor. So
It's not a petameter.
it's a temp sensor right
It's a
there.
temp sensor. It's a Garmin Temp A, man. So that's how you get all your stuff, and it's all right here. Or
Nice.
you know what I mean? I'm just saying, I got a lot of cool stuff like that we can get into.
Does that sensor also give density, altitude, or just temperature?
Does it all?
Does it? Okay, cool.
Yeah. Think
Cool.
about like the like
dealer order.
We're a Garmin dealer, so
Yeah.
and by
and
the
you
way,
don't have
folks,
any temp A's?
no, we don't.
Here, look.
If you guys,
I'll just
want
dismount
it,
this one and give it to you.
we can put that together. So don't worry, we'll hook you up between 4-tracks, between getting your Fire 4000, getting it mounted to the scope. Hell, I'll
and
even
a
have
temperature
Summer
sensor.
Zero it for you.
Oh,
Yeah. Nice.
as long as it's anodized red.
You know what? That was actually one thing that I wanted to bring up in your video that you did a good job on that we haven't yet. I know, Ruben, this is common knowledge in from the sniper schoolhouse, right? But we talk about in some of the instructional stuff that we put out there, we've talked about, hey, co-witnessing your laser and getting really nerdy with the calipers and making sure what your offset is, right? So that you do a parallel at 2.7 inches or whatever that needs to be. But
Sure.
then another thing that we look at, right, that is not considered that you touched on is, hey, make sure that diving board is level, because if we look at margin of error, right, and when I look at 100 yards, 50 yards, whatever I'm doing my parallel at, and I'm seeing, oh, hey, it's exactly up where it needs to be, but my diving board is not level. Well, I'm not going to see that at 25 yards, at 100 yards, but I will see it at further distances. So that was a good thing that you touched on. That is that's really a $2 concept, that we level everything on these guns, right? We level a scope base, we level the you name it. But that also needs to be applied with a laser mounted rangefinder to get your best results.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I mean, especially when you have the visible laser there in the middle, but now we have the actual laser range finding system off to the left and right. So if those are a little cattywampus there, you're going to get weird readings of distance.
Correct. And we've gotten feedback, when people put clip-on night vision on and they say, whoa, I'm seeing my return and it's off to the right of where I was zeroed. Well, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we lost Marcos.
You got to finish his sentence, Rue.
The offset they're seeing is because they have something in front of it that it's reflecting off of. And I'm like, yeah, man, you got something that's sitting in front of the laser. It's probably not going to work, Bubba. Oh, man. It's like the first thing we always want to blame is the equipment. It's always the equipment. It's the
Yeah.
equipment. Something's wrong with your unit. I want a new one. And I'm like, whoa, hold up, buddy. There's a step process to this, and it's called troubleshooting. That's exactly what we're gonna do. And I start to break down everything. I can't tell you how many guys I have turned around that are like, they're standing on the ledge, man. They're about to jump off. And I'm like, hold on. Grab their shoulder, turn them around. Let's talk about this thing and diagnose what's going on. Well, now they're
Hey,
shooting
Ruben,
with
can
dope
you
on.
actually unpack that a little bit? Because I think that's one thing that maybe the market doesn't know. When you buy a Fire 4000, when you call Gary and Summer up and you say, hey, do you have any in stock? Yes, I want one, and I get it ordered after you've bought them out from Gary and it's all set up. And let's say, hey, we have that maybe that is a entry level shooter that either doesn't know applied ballistics or doesn't know what a weapon mounted laser rangefinder, and he has an issue, right? Unpack a little bit about what that process looks like, Ruben, and what we do to take care of them.
But dude, I'll walk them through the whole thing. Or
Yep.
we'll send them to experts like our panel over here. And hey, here's some really good information you can get. Because as a community, we have a training problem, not an equipment problem. Like
100%.
we've like they're just enablers. Like we enable people to be able, to be better, right? But there's core competencies in all that we need to keep and maintain. I can't give you the hit. I can't do it if you don't know what you're doing. If you can't zero your rifle properly, or you don't know how to collect dope without all this stuff, right? To true your rifle, that should put a lot into perspective.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think gear prep, like people, unfortunately, like there's this double-edged sword. One of the things I love about YouTube, specific to long range, is that it has made long range accessible to everybody, right? Which is really cool.
Absolutely.
Because I think, going back 10 years ago, or maybe even a little bit further, there was this kind of gatekeeper mentality where this was like all voodoo stuff. And, if you could hit a target beyond 300 yards, you were some sort of wizard and knew some sort of black magic stuff. And it never was that. So what YouTube has done is it made it accessible, but at the same time, this is something I talk about all the time when I'm selling people on our courses and our approach to training for long range is, it's like YouTube. The problem with YouTube is like if you had Brazilian jiu-jitsu or some other martial art, and they had all the videos ranked by white belt, yellow belt, blue belt, or black belt. We all know the only videos that would get any views are the black belts.
Yep.
The problem is those funda freaking minnows, like that are really, really important, that are that white belt stuff that everybody wants to skip over, and you don't have context of what's going on. So what we see with equipment is people not taking the time to set these things up correctly. And I'm not talking about even a weapon mounted laser rangefinder. I'm just talking about optics, guns,
anything
else. Like
a pair of bipods.
It is not
I'm telling you, dude.
And so everything seems so hard. So they get out there, they've thrown something together that they saw somebody do on YouTube, and then they go out there and they can't hit anything at 600 yards or 500 yards or 300 yards. And they're like, you know what? Long range isn't for me. I'd rather the truth that, hey, there's some difficult and some technical issues of setting some things up so that your expectations are set correctly, so that we meet and exceed your expectations when you get out there and start launching rounds down range. And, I think that's what's important to know about these types of devices, or really any of the equipment out there.
From like an instructor standpoint, that's the hardest point, is to see people struggle. And I could take a 10-minute phone call and make it a 2-hour one, right? But I'm not getting paid to be a trainer anymore. So getting away from the instructor side and getting into the troubleshooting side was a real struggle for me. Yeah. Like that was very hard, because I hate to see people struggle. And these people are our customers. They're our friends. I mean, we basically treat each other like family. Like anybody that calls me, it's hey, Tango Tech Support. And they're like, oh my God, it's a dude. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm in Alabama. What's up? Roll Tide. And they're like, oh my God. I was like, this is awesome. I'm like, yeah, what's up, man? It's like, what's going on? And they just kind of break it down. And I was like, okay, well, let's figure it out. It's super simple. And I talk to everybody down to earth. It's not anything crazy, technical, wild, exotic. I don't kill people with terms and big words because I'm just a dude with a South Alabama education that figure out this thing.
And you know what, Ruben, I think that's really our culture as a company. Because if you look at what the actual device is, right, and you have a great analogy that I'm going to steal from you, but
Don't do it.
essentially, yeah, you know what, I'm going to wait for it and let you drop it. But essentially, if you look at our system, it's not a complicated system. Yes, this is a complicated concept, right? But only an explanation. Gary and some of you touched on it. It's essentially pretty easy, but our product is also not very complicated, right? You turn it on, you laze, and it does that. It lasers and gives you a ballistic solution, right? The setup is pretty straightforward. There's not a complicated menu system. There's not an over complex or over featured paralysis that you're giving the customer of, hey, which way or which mode that I want to put it in.
That's the expectation. Is exactly
Really
what you
is.
just said.
Yeah, it
The
really is.
paralysis.
And it creates this complicated thought where we have customers that are really overthinking it. Kind of like you've probably seen the approach, Gary, in summer, where people overthink it when they buy their first kit, right?
Oh yeah,
Where,
yeah.
So
I have those phone conversations. Well, because it's just usually me answering the phone, so I have those conversations every day where they're like, "Well, I don't know." They come to it down to a paralysis on decisions. I'm like, look, get this, get this, get this.
Folks, I'll
You'll
just
be
say
happy.
right now, you have to spend $15K before I come to the phone. Just letting you know.
Hey, he's honest, man. You can't.
I'll send you myself.
I love it.
I don't blame you one bit. Hey, Ruben, one day we will get there when our team gets bigger. Right now, we're in the phone app with you.
20K, you can keep me on speed dial.
Yeah.
Back it up, Terry.
Yeah, but I mean, even our 11-year-old was using the FIRE4000 and loved it. And so Gary calls me on the way home from the range after the first chance he really got to use it and play with it a bunch. And he's like, "Man, this thing is freaking awesome!" And obviously, he has access to a bunch of gear for him to call me and say, "Oh, this thing's amazing," he's excited about it, right? And then my 11-year-old's chiming in on speakerphone. "Yeah, mommy, that thing's great. You should really try it." Because he hit 1200 with it, so he thinks.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
See, that's cool.
Equipment
Right?
in the world, right?
And that's the other cool part about our product that I think we kind of fell back into. It really didn't realize it when we were going to market, is that how much easier that makes it, right? I mean, it really does. I mean, you point it. And when I'm explaining this product, to family that it doesn't shoot at all, right?
Yeah.
And you show it to them and say, well, you co-witness this. You got to get a little nerdy, or you got to put a little work into it on the front end to make sure you set it up right. But essentially, you put it in, you point, you take a measurement, and then you do what the screen tells you, and then you hit the target.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's pretty much it.
Making dreams come true, one shot at a time.
It doesn't make it any easier than that, and it really lowers that barrier to entry for long range shooting, but especially field matches, right?
Oh yeah.
No, like you said, I think for field matches, and once you have it dialed in, I mean, I think this has some real hunting practical application as well. I think that's probably not said enough. I mean, being able to get down, you're typically already looking at your target or whatever else when you're hunting, be able to get down behind the optic, hit a button, lays that target. And again, when it comes to sniper operations, I spent a lot of time on the Wilcox Raptor, and it was good, but it was one of those things where it's like, you didn't ever quite trust it. And I think this is, quite frankly, I feel like this is better than the original Wilcox Raptor. I know they've come out with some additional models that I probably haven't played with yet, but I mean, for what this is, it really is the easy button. Once you have it set up, once you have it dialed in, it makes things easy. With all that being said, just like I talked about in my video, folks, like you got to take down hard data on that cartridge. You got to know what's going on so that when this thing does, when you accidentally lays over the target or beyond the target, or it comes up with some funky data just because it's electronics, things, weird things happen. If you're shooting at 600 and it tells you 12 mils, you should be able to know that it's not correct. Just like any other device that we use out there.
Now, you said it pretty well in your video. I'm going to steal it from you, Gary. But you said, what is it? Electronics hate you and want to see you fail every chance, or something to that effect that you're talking about. Or maybe you called it Bluetooth. I don't know, but whatever it was.
That's how it is. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to. I mean, it's only as good as the stuff you get in, and we've heard it echoed a million times from even when Kestrel was the only ballistic solution. Is garbage in, garbage out.
Mhm.
You got to give it good stuff so that it can give you good stuff, right? It's a good partnership between your equipment and setting it up to succeed so that you can then succeed. But that is one of the other things that I do like, and I hope we get into it here. Is the quantum controls that we have now that we didn't launch, and unfortunately our manual still says the Boss applied app that is eventually going to be sunsetted. Even the Boss is a little simpler and easier. It does less, but man, that quantum application, when properly used, I mean, it's pretty hot.
It's
So everybody's wondering why did we have the Boss app? Why was that a thing? Well, it's kind of think about it as like a trial period, right? So they're kind of gonna let us go with the rest of the herd when they can get us into it. Well, until that point, here's this easy system, boom, and then you're able to work through that and get through it. So that's number one, why Boss even exists, that whole synopsis system. So that we've graduated, cool, hit phase one gate. Now we're into, instead of just applied ballistics, just a regular blue one, we moved over to the quantum, which is that's jumping off the deep end into a pool, not knowing how to swim for some people.
Yeah. Well,
Like
I'll tell you, like I'm still learning. I knew AB in and out, and
you thought you did.
moving over to quantum, it's a different user interface. A lot of the things that I'm used to accessing very easily, very quickly. It's there's a learning curve with it.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. And for those of you that aren't used to any ballistic app, it's going to be a learning curve. There's no doubt about it. Matter of fact, I think AB just released like a 2-hour video on YouTube, and it still just scratches the surface. So there's a lot in there. I do like now when you say you guys are going, and just so you guys know, for those of you that haven't watched the review or don't know anything about this, the Boss app is the application that essentially is tied to this. So it's your phone app that's tied to this. You can change some settings in it, all those things. It does have basically almost like an AB light, a light ballistic solver. It does pretty well. But once you tie this to the AB quantum app, it opens up a lot other capabilities. So if you guys are going to sunset the Boss app, are you still going to be able to change the settings and things like that from within quantum, or are you going to keep some form of the Boss app around where you can still change settings and do some things from the phone to this?
Yeah, that's a great question, right? So, and maybe sunsetting is a strong word, right? We're really going to walk hand in hand because of the beauty of partnering. We're a laser company, not a software company, so that's really the beauty of partnering with Boss. But I'd say the biggest setting that I think is different between Quantum and Boss is probably the ability to do AB internal and AB external via your app, right? And maybe that's what you're referring to, right? Whereas the Quantum app essentially forces the device to go into AB internal so that you're connecting to it. And there's pros and cons to that. I think one of the biggest pros is that you don't have people trying to connect, which we get the call all the time, trying to connect to a Kestrel while their phone is on and AB internal, AB external. The beauty of Quantum is that it'll force the device into the mode that it works with that. So it does seem like a feature's taken away, but then you can also just manually on your device hold that right key for 3 seconds and then change settings to internal to external. So to your point, I mean, we haven't really decided, right, if we're going to get rid of Boss. And as we're having this conversation, I'm kind of thinking that, this decision will essentially be Ruben's at the end of the day, but maybe we keep a Boss for that entry level shooter that's coming in, right? That doesn't want to get, I mean, Quantum's drinking from a fire hose if you've never seen a ballistics, right?
Well, so I do think it's a little bit easier to change, like, again, from the app, pretty much everything you can do from the app, you can obviously do on the device, whether it's a long press or whatever else. But I do like the fact that we can go through there and change the settings, change, whether it's AB internal, and it's just a more, it's just an easier interface as opposed to looking at this little screen, which, again, the screen is great. There's lots of, I mean, if you're going to have this small of a screen. It's very bright, very easy to read, all those things. But I do like being able to change a lot of the settings and then shoot those settings over to the device. I think that's, to me, is the value of the Boss app.
And to your point, Gary, the Boss app, right? So if you look at Boss, that is and we're not the only company that uses it, but there's not a whole lot. I'm sorry, not the whole company. I'm the only device that uses it. We have other devices that are entry level, but yeah, it's geared for controlling devices. So
Yep.
so it has some nice interfaces that you're talking about. Whereas you look at Quantum, well, that is the one solution to do everything: the Kestrel, the Garmin, the entire portfolio, as opposed to a customizable device. But the other beauty of Applied Ballistics is the guys are great over there. If we give them a hey, this is a feature that we would like that we had to Boss, it's just a little bit of time and then they add it, right? So to your point, Gary, I don't think we could definitively say we're going to sunset that unless Quantum can do everything Boss can do. And until that time comes, I'm kind of thinking out loud here on the podcast. But I don't think we could say that we'd be doing the market a service to sunset Boss until Quantum can do everything Boss can do, or maybe we have two parallel approaches of, hey, if you're new to ballistics, go ahead and download Boss. That's your simpler interface. And if you want to get into the deep end and get into truing your custom drag curves and doing some 4,000 level stuff, go ahead and download Quantum.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. So I guess real quick, I explain. Because I don't even know that I completely understood it correctly, what you had told me, Marcos, when it came to the AB Quantum. As I understood it, and this is a chance to correct anything I said in the review. Once you tie this over to AB Quantum, you're basically running everything external through AB Quantum, right? Regardless of what mode that you're in on the FIRE4000, or is that incorrect?
So if you're connected to AB Quantum, right, and you've made a pairing, because there's a bunch of different things that Quantum does outside of our device. You have your HUD view,
Right.
you have a bunch of other views, but in the device view, once you've gone into the device view, it has changed the device to AB internal. Does that answer what you were saying, Gary?
Yeah, I guess my question is, where is if it's an AB internal and you're hooked to Quantum,
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't, you're not pulling the solutions from the device. The device is no longer doing the solutions. AB Quantum is doing the solutions, correct?
No, the device is doing the solutions.
Okay,
Right? And then it's reflecting back. So on AB internal or ABI on the device, the device is always the brainchild, if you will.
Okay.
That is where your ballistic solution is coming from, your range, your inclination, everything, right? AB Quantum is your programming device, your programming platform to put data into your device. So when you're on Quantum in device view, that is you're essentially accessing the brains of the Tango.
Gotcha.
Mm.
And then it's going to give you a readout on the Quantum as well.
That's correct. It'll also give you a readout on the HUD. So if you're connected and you're on there, and we get that call a lot, and that's something we're working with AB on, making it easier for the users, is that we'll get people calling us. We were on a call the other day, and these were some very educated Navy shooters that were running it. And they're like, hey, man, it's not lining up, right? I'm seeing like I got a 2 mil difference, and it's because they're in HUD view, and HUD view will get a range from the laser. Still, but what you have in HUD view will not be reflected. You're not touching the brains of the Tango. When you go in device view, that's when you've opened Pandora's box. That's when you're programming your Tango, and that is when they will absolutely line up. They're one and the same is the better way to look at it. So the device view in Quantum is the exact same processor, the exact same environmentals that the Tango is running.
And conversely, with a Kestrel, if you're running AB internal, the only thing it's pulling off is environmentals.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, so correct.
Which is, by the way, it's a lot faster than the Kestrel is, folks.
Oh yeah.
Significantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to unpack that a little bit more when we talked about Kestrel, because this is also a 4,000 level conversation, and Rue, keep me honest over here, but you can connect your Kestrel in a couple different ways. Let's first start with Applied Ballistics internal. So when I'm on Applied Ballistics internal, I am using the internal solver on the Tango to create a ballistic solution. Now, our device, some of the things it doesn't have is environmental sensors. So that if I'm connected to my device on AB internal, it is pulling the ballistic solution, the profile, the speeds, the you name it, the inclination, the everything from the device and settings on the Tango that you've previously programmed. But it is now adding the environmental pieces that it does not have from the Kestrel. So we had a team shoot Mammoth, and in Mammoth, you don't want to be relying on your phone, right? I mean, your phone could die, you want whatever. And then it's also field and hunting environment. And they're saying, well, I'm not going to be changing ammos. I'm not going to be changing guns. I don't need to get to the brains, but I do need to update my environmental. So the solution there is run your device on AB internal, connect it with your Kestrel. Once that connection and Bluetooth connection is made, you see your little icon on your device, you see it on your Tango, on your Kestrel. It has now just pulled whatever environmentals it is. And now you turn your Kestrel off and you're off to the races. And it just took a snapshot of those environmentals.
It's basically like putting your Kestrel in environmental lock mode. So
exactly. That's exactly what it is. I'm like, you guys do this anyway. Like you already do this. Like, why does everybody want like the weatherman like following around everywhere, just like burning? It's like something's gonna. Oh, I got a 2-degree difference, man. Oh man, I'm like 5 miles off the target. I'm like, no, dude.
Your density altitude is not going to change 3,000 feet in a day.
Unless
crazy happens.
I lose my mind over this, guys. I'm like, think about it like this. It's so simple. It's like a flash drive, dude. Like a thumb drive, right? And you take your information from your computer, that being your Kestrel, you load it into the thumb drive, and it has everything that you chose to put in there, and it's going to perform and push that information out there. If you choose not to load weather into it, weather's not going to be in it. It's as simple as that. And if you see an atmospheric change, or if it's been a couple hours or half a day, just link back up to it. It's going to update just like that. Turn your stuff back off, conserve your batteries, keep it out of the sun, go shoot. Shoot. Like it's everything you need and everything you don't need in one package.
Yeah,
it's literally
it's everything you need, nothing you don't. I mean, Rueben has a great analogy. He calls it a race car, right?
Dude, that's a NASCAR, dude.
You're not getting AC, you're not getting Sirius XM, but you are going to get performance and fast performance of what you need.
Yeah. Well, I do. Initially, I was really bummed that we didn't have environmentals, onboard environmentals, right? And I know that the Maztec right now has environmentals on it. It's the only other one that I'm aware of. I think the new Raptor does as well. But the problem with that, exactly what you guys said, is I really like the fact that hey, I can freaking I can send those environmentals. It's going to be locked into this. And even though this is sitting in the sun and whatever else, you guys know, if you have any experience with Kestrels, even suddenly you look at your Kestrel and now everything's changed 6,000 feet density altitude. Well, that's not legit. Same thing with a metal device. If it's sitting there in the sun and, it's getting these bad environmentals, it's dumping all this, it's acting like a heat sink. And it's dumping
solar load
100%. So that is actually a really good feature that the more I thought about it, I was like, actually, that was really smart. Now, I don't know what Maztec is doing to be able to compensate or mitigate, that problem. I don't know that there's anything that they could do. And I haven't tested that unit, so I don't know. But I'll tell you, that is being able to throw that in there during the day and know that my environmentals in here aren't going to change on me is a really good thing to know.
And you know what, Gary, to unpack a little bit more on kind of that journey of where we landed there, when we were in the R&D process, what we had to compare it to was the Vortex that was in the field, and then the PALs, the Marses, the $15,000 units that Rueben and friends of ours were running. And we asked them, hey, how those same conversations come from? And you talk to anybody that's running a storm for work, first thing they say is, I turn those things off. My environmentals, I make sure that they're off and frozen. They turn it on to a feature of the Mars, right? Once you turn that device on, there's an option to update your environmentals and then turn them off for the rest of the day. And the beauty of that is just that you can't get dirty data anymore because you've frozen it, right? You've frozen it in the snapshot that you needed. And then it's also not sucking your battery dry, as we know that lasers consume a lot of battery as it is already. So then we took that same approach and say, hey, how do we do that at a cost-effective level? Because Gary and Summer, and this is no secret, we are looking at other models, later next year, nothing, no time in the near future, for a 1550 option that'll be at a higher price point that will have environmentals. But when we looked at the Fire 4000 that we had, and when we had some prototypes of environmentals, we ran into a couple challenges. To insulate the environmentals enough, we lost the awesome footprint that we had, right? Because we're using an all metal housing. And that to us just wasn't worth the cost, because the biggest complaint that the other civilian unit on the market now is how big it is, right? So when you try to get into a window, or you try to move fast, or and try to get into a porthole, you can't use your laser, or you're banging it, and it just, that squeeze just wasn't worth the juice, when there's other ways to accommodate it by going to a more complex device. Because I don't care what environmentals are out there, you're not beating what the Kestrel is reading. That is the golden standard for a weather meter. So our thought is, we're a laser company. Why don't we partner with what's in everybody's bag already?
Yeah.
Well, and on top of that, look, like I know there's a temptation with some of these devices where you think you're going to get an all-in-one. And we sell Vectronics, we sell the Vector X's, we sell SIGs, binos, and all this other stuff. And people ask me all the time, the idea is, oh, well, Gary, can I get, the Vector X and not have to buy a Kestrel? I'm like, look, if you're serious about long range shooting, you need a freaking Kestrel. Like,
thank you.
Out of just about anything outside of an optic itself,
yes,
like you want a Kestrel. It's going to give you, or at least something that's going to give you a consistent density altitude. I'll be honest with you, I almost never use the wind feature on my Kestrel, but I know that thing's going to pull density altitude. And of course, if you want to use it for the ballistic computer, which I'll be honest with you, a lot of times I'm using hard data to begin with, or referencing hard data. But you need a Kestrel. So most of the guys, look, folks, I've said this, it's already been mentioned. If you're getting into long range shooting, the moment that you start trying to cheap out on it, you're wasting your time and you're wasting your money. Invest in the gear. If you have questions about like what to buy, what not to buy, I'll tell you right now, not everybody needs this, right? This is an extra as far as I'm concerned.
Get training. Get training.
Yep, get training. It's a
get training.
Nice extra. And one of the things I do want to pull up, because
we save people money just in them coming to a class and Gary showing them what a proper rifle setup should be. Whereas we've had people in classes previously and they spent $10,000 on a rifle and everything about it is wrong. Everything.
Exactly.
And they're like, man, I wish I wouldn't have spent that money. I wish I would have come here first and learned.
And
that is the worst thing to see. And I feel so bad. I'm like, oh man, like what can you do? It's like, well, I mean, one, talk to people who have done this for a living, who are doing it for a living, right? And we can, trying to point you in the right direction to just start some training, just attend a class, just to see, hey, yeah, that's the style of shooting I want. I'm probably at a minimum going to need X, Y, and Z, not just spend $25,000, even though it would be nice for you guys to do that. But you show up,
it's scary then.
Well, and look, with our courses, and there's other ones out there like this, but it is fairly uncommon. Like, that's why I tell people, like, if you're getting into long range shooting, come to one of our courses, use one of our student guns. We have that set up. We're going to tell you how, what makes a good gun, what makes a good optic, what makes good ammo. We're going to show you, you're going to be an educated buyer by the time you leave there without having accidentally spent $5,000, $10,000 too much on gear that you're not going to be happy with once you get into this. But to answer your question, Manolo, like where this thing really thrives is a couple different scenarios. Number one, anybody out there that is in like a defensive marksman position, that's where this immediately goes to my mind. Anytime that you're going to be dealing with targets at unknown distance that you need to laze quickly and be able to engage. Field matches, anything that you're doing with field matches, hunting, this is like a perfect hunting setup as long as you have it set up correctly, and that goes with anything. So this gives you the ability to laze a target and get a ballistic solution in less than a second, and then get on target. That's what this allows you to do. That
without breaking position.
without
Yeah.
breaking position. Also, provided you have your rifle set up correctly.
The cheek stock weld, right?
Yep. If you
Not
have it,
having to,
if you're a right
come up
and
do
you
all
have
this weird stuff.
the left hand side of your gun or the right hand side of your gun, rather, you're probably gonna have to break position. So, mount it correctly. All those things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a whole system, man. It's not just, you can't buy a hit. It's just not going to happen. Frank said it the best. People are out here with these crazy calibers doing all this weird stuff, trying to buy a hit. It's not going to work. What you can buy is experience and training. That's where you're going to see things like this and find out that there is something that can work like a Kestrel HUD, right? It's right here,
Yep.
right? Like this literally takes the place of the Kestrel if you need it to. At least in our scenario, right, with our equipment and our little biome, it works amazing. Like it does everything I need it to, and it's super cheap. Like imagine having buy multiple Kestrels or all this weird stuff, or trying to get around not having sensors. Right now, how much are those Tempes? They're like $30 or something.
They were 30 now, but they're discontinued.
Oh,
No.
Yeah.
I've lost like a lot. I have one.
I'm calling
right now
Garmin.
that's
Calling
electrical
Garmin.
taped to the Garmin.
Yeah.
Pull out the
double
friend
checked.
card.
They're
Rip
definitely
it up.
discontinued.
Dang. Well, we'll have to get back on that.
So
Well,
what are the
so-
questions we got? I see a lot more down there.
Are we out of stock on Fire 4000?
I have units inbound. I think the last one just went out today, but I've already have units inbound. I have tracking.
Yeah, they should be here soon, right? Because I think I would imagine they'll be you might even have them this week.
Oh yeah, I should definitely have them this week because they shipped day before yesterday, I think.
So yeah.
So yeah.
Do you have plans to release an FDE version? I can't answer that, but
I'm not answering that one.
Yeah. So the FDE version.
I get asked that all the time too.
Yeah, I'd say this is probably the number one email that I have in my box.
Looking that
So
booger on you,
essentially,
dude.
Yeah, so FDE is in flight, right? And to unpack that a little bit, because anybody that's on our socials is seeing FDE since probably February. So one thing about anodizing FDE, it is a huge pain in the ass. We went through a bunch of different suppliers to do it right. I mean, Night Force, Magpul, there's a lot of companies that flat out said, hey, this is only as good as we can get it, even when we're controlling all the standards. So finding a supplier was challenging. We finally have found one. We are doing an FDE. It is happening. When that ETA is very soon. I don't want to overpromise again, but yes, it will happen. But I would not say, hey, don't go get a black one just because you're waiting on an FDE one to match your rifle. They're both going to do the same thing. So,
and folks, let me tell you something. First of all, when it comes to FDE anodization, it's not going to match whatever you got. Just telling you that right now.
It never does.
You have an FDE Cerakote chassis or whatever else. What often looks better is exactly what we have here, right? So you got, throw a little contrast in there with the black. I think that looks,
agreed.
That still is going to look better. But when you start trying to match your scope and your rings and, the Fire 4000, you're going to have 50 shades of FDE. Everybody knows that.
I mean, just look at the scope caps on it.
Yeah.
Look at the scope caps on it.
Completely different, yeah.
Exactly. That anodization is really hard to replicate. And if you mess up one part, you can't re-anodize it because you're going to change the molecular value and rigidity of it, and it will be prone to cracking. How do I know this? Go talk to Badger. Go talk to Badger Ordnance, man, because they had their little caps on top. We had them breaking at the schoolhouse. We called them. We're like, dude, what's going on? They were like, whoa. That was the very beginning of the program, like when we're shipping out program stuff. And what happened was the people that we had that were anodizing all their stuff, they redid it twice. Like they did it 2 in a row, and you can't do that because
even from batch to batch. So I remember I did a really cool short on a MPA rifle that we had in burnt or smoked bronze. I don't remember, but it was like
bronze.
It was almost the exact same color
bronze.
As the as the Vortex Razor HD.
Right? Oh, no way. Yeah,
but the problem is we kept the color on because it was Cerakoted. It stayed pretty true. But then people were getting them like, Gary, this doesn't look like what you showed in the video. And then I looked at somebody's another, because we constantly get scopes into mount. I don't sell Vortex, nothing against Vortex, we just don't sell them, but we constantly get scopes into mount for people. And like I got like these 3 Vortex Razor HDs, and they're 3 different colors.
Well, and even like
you know,
different batches of Midnight Bronze from
that too, but
Masterpiece Arms can vary just slightly
100%,
because
sure.
but
what will vary even more so is anodization.
Yeah,
but they'll tell you that. Like Phil will tell you right then. He's like, dude, if you decide to get a folding stock for this thing, it may or may not match.
Exactly.
Right? Like I'm like, Phil, I got it, bro. I don't care. I like the burnt. I like the burnt bronze.
Black and everything that always matches.
Yeah. Hey, black is the new FDE. I don't want to hear about it.
Well,
FDE's dead.
And back to stock. So I just tracked my order.
Calm down, Ru. Calm down. Not quite dead.
Just saying, man.
Not quite dead.
I tracked my order. It'll be in Friday, so I just went ahead and put them in stock so you guys can purchase those and get them before they go out of stock.
There you go.
Again.
So if you want them,
I'll have them Friday.
Go order them right freaking now. We'll have them in as soon as possible.
They fly off the shelves, people.
Yeah. I mean, to echo that, right? To put a little bit of sense of urgency on anybody that's looking at these. There's no secret that this is an FDA regulated product, right? And when the FDA is involved, even when we have things coming from our manufacturing facility, I'd say probably 1/3 of our shipments get delayed for no rhyme or reason. Some of them get checked to make sure they're a 905 laser, et cetera. But when you're dealing with the federal government, at one time we had 300 units that were just sitting, in the FDA's warehouses. So if somebody has them in stock, pick them up, because we don't know that our supply chain as it comes through the FDA is challenging.
Yeah, every time I send a PO over to you guys, I'm like, oh, please have them in stock. Please have them.
Yeah, I mean,
they're in a container waiting to get their number pulled so they can just pull one out and look at it and be like, I don't know what this is. I ain't touching it. And then it's like,
exactly.
It is that.
We all know what really goes on.
I think only 2 units have actually been tested by the FDA, right? To validate it, to making sure that it's a 905. And the frustration that I have is like, I promise you, I'm not accidentally putting a 1550 diode in this.
We didn't change that. Like from prototyping.
5 times more expensive.
Oh yeah, dude. Like, no, we don't. That's the whole thing, man. It's like we try to keep this cost effective to get the capability and price point together to match up, to show guys what, like you were talking about, voodoo and hoodoo earlier. Like, this is the voodoo, man. Like, this is it right here. Like, all the guys you see running these lasers, all the guys. Hey, okay, I got a question for you. What frame rate are you running right now? I got to know this.
Gary, he wants to know what frame rate you're running. He wants to know.
30 frames per second.
30 frames per second.
Nice.
That's it. I had an email today saying, how do I take pictures of the screen?
Yeah.
It's not showing up right.
But
Any more than 30 frames per second, and you're going to start getting because when I was doing the slow footage for the B-roll, it made it all wonky, but 30 frames.
Oh God, here we go with the nerd stuff.
Does it?
There it is, folks. 30 frames per second. Everybody knows. Everybody take notes. Write that down.
Yep.
Yeah, that automotive style screen is a bitch to take a picture of. So.
Dude, it's terrible, but it works awesome. It works too awesome, apparently, because a lot of people say that it's very, very, very bright. Well, yeah.
If it wasn't, they complain about that too.
Well, you can dim it.
Yeah, you can dim it, but everybody's running around with nods on and in hide positions and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
A little piece of clear tape, put it over the top.
Yeah, we were talking about that last night. Just put some tape over it, just colored tape, the translucent tape.
Yeah.
And get it in whatever cool color you want. Put it right on over across the top.
That's a niche market, right? Whoever's running those clip-on nods. That's the majority of our customers that are night hunters are running thermals, and that's an atom bomb to your face at night already. So.
Oh, dude, nuked. But yeah, we're trying to get balance that
night vision mode on there would be kind of cool.
Price to capability, man, is really like working that and just going back over it, but taking out all the little things, all the redundancy that we already have, and take that money and that effort and all that prototyping and put it into higher end, better quality parts and pieces. Like,
it looks like we got another question in the bottom down there.
Yeah, he's talking about the warranty. I'll let you get on that one right after I mentioned this piece. Just taking your time and being able to really get, a focus on all the lasers, right? Well, what type of potting are you using and how much, right? So all these lasers that are inside of there, because you got your sending, receiving, and then your vis laser, they're all literally on a board and they're all co-aligned, ready to go. So when you're moving this thing around, it's doing this right here. Well, what kind of springs are you using with that? Right? Are you going to put high quality springs in it, have a good sight or good tension on it, which is why we don't use the ball bearing in it, because now you have full control of exactly where you want to put your laser. Like you don't have to, you're not locked
He's
into.
referring to the clicks, right? The clicks.
Yeah.
For people that don't.
The adjustment.
Yeah. So there's no clicks in this right here. And I've heard it called mushy player. That ain't mushy, my man. Like you want to talk about mush, man. There's some arms rooms out there that's got some mush in it. It's done that way. One, that's another cost cutback that you can take out without having all these indentations and all these little ball bearings in it that lock it in. Because say like you need to go down just enough, but it's in between the two ball bearings, like those ball bearing stop points. So now you're locked into that. You're stuck with that, and you're going to have that, I don't know, 0.03 error, and it's only going to get bigger in distance.
Well, and you don't need clicks. I mean, we don't have clicks in your parallax. You don't want that. It's very, very. You don't have clicks in a focus.
Yeah.
When I was adjusting that, I was having Noah adjust that for me while I'm keeping the rifle steady, and it moves up smoothly. It does what you need it to do. I mean, if you think you need clicks, well, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
It's redundancy, man. Like it's like stop spending more money and just on other things and just spend a little bit more on quality products, quality materials, right? Like finding out
when you're doing a parallel zero, you want it exactly where that is, right? At 2.7. To Ruben's point, you don't want it at 3, you don't want it at 2.5. You want it exactly at 2.7 and some change, and then true it based on where that reticle actually is in the scope. And to get that finite adjustment, you want full control of your windage and elevation. So,
yeah, that's not a big deal. This is a great question. Manola wants to know, what's the warranty on these?
Yeah, so
Marco,
Manola,
you're up.
Yeah, it's me. So we have a 3-year warranty, and then after that, our model is that it is a repairable warranty. So let's say, I'm not asking, I'm not telling people to drive their dirt bike and drop them like we've had other customers do, but in that first 3-year period, it's on us, right? After that 3-year period, if you shatter the unit, you break a front's lens cap. These are built to be serviceable units. So we have a facility in California where the unit would then be sent back, and at that point, we would just charge you the parts of what it took you to get it back up to speed.
Nice. Well, that's good. Yeah.
That's another nice thing, that it's not like a throwaway unit. It's meant to be serviceable and last a while.
Is there a caliber restriction on these?
So essentially, we wouldn't recommend to put them on air guns. We have not done full transparency. We have not put them on reverse recoil systems. We have put them on 22s and looked at micro recoil and things like that. And then what we did on a pneumatic testing machine,
the destroyer.
Yeah, it really is. Oh my God, I hate that thing, because every time when we thought we had a prototype that was perfect, we put it on the pneumatic hammer, and then
is that where it just takes it?
Oh,
yeah, essentially, yeah. So, and I can see you footage.
Leopold's got they have the Punisher, and that thing is ridiculous.
But to answer your question, right, it's up to 50 BMG. Now we are going to do some testing, some third-party private testing as we look at potential law enforcement opportunities in the future, where we will do some SCAR heavy testing, because as we know, SCAR heavy SBRs, as we know, that's the one killer of optics. That we look at it to see, what that rating is attributed. We haven't done that testing yet, but in short, it's rated to a 50 BMG.
That's good to know. Good to know on that.
There were a couple of questions I starred over there, if you want to look at those.
You were starring questions?
I was.
You weren't authorized to operate this device.
Too bad.
I've been watching her eyes, dude. They've been going up and down. She's been reading them. She's like writing them down, like, okay, got you. Going to go to that one.
It
No,
would
you
be
can start 'em
cool
and they,
to be able to buy more remote switches to mount and tie the cable to the rifle. So all you have to do is move around the actual unit. So are there additional, can you buy individual remote switches?
We absolutely can. It's not an advertised piece because it's kind of a pain to get that one cable, right? Just from a shipping standpoint. But if you need more cables, we
It's
absolutely
building up the inventory.
would that be something that I, as a dealer, could maybe order a few additional cables?
We would love that.
Okay.
Yes, you absolutely could, because
And then
the one-offs
yeah.
on an ACH process are a pain. So
Well, then you can send people to me for cables. I'll just buy them in bulk
Done.
for you and
Done. There's a couple dealers that have cables. Most of the time we get the call. We're not gonna, send one cable out to a dealer to make it a pain. We've just been handling it, but we would absolutely love to build that inventory outside of just our warehouse.
Awesome.
Marco, give them the news on the cable. Give them the news on the cable.
Yeah, so on that cable, right? Rueben already knows where we're coming. We are in the works, and this is something we can work with you on summer as well as a heavy duty for our heavy user. And to do a 90-degree cable. So in that 90-degree cables, and we're looking at prototypes as you see it coming out. It's one of the things that we think we could do a little bit better on, right? So we're still gonna have the standard cable that comes in the box, but for users that are running and gunning and shooting harder events like Chaos Sniper Challenges, Mammoth Sniper Challenge, you name it, where you're really testing that gear, we're gonna have a lower profile 90-degree cable that doesn't stick out and catch on anything. And then we're also working on having it'll be an upgrade for that heavy duty user. So
nice.
That
is good to know.
Also, want to eventually create wear on the bend in that cable and create
exactly right, because that cable's coming down.
Yeah.
So it's
already coming down. So
we're looking at metals. We're looking at metals right now, different than like something that is going to hold up to our customers' expectations versus, just trying to throw something together. So, we're almost there. We have the design. We have our concepts all done. We had a guy call me about the button. He said the button's too big. He said, "Look, dude, look at that. It's the width of my finger, dude. I mean, like, how much smaller than you want? It's
maybe you meant the overall housing."
Yeah, and I'm like, that's a zip tie hole right there.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, you need some type of real estate to be able to put it to something. I mean, I'll show you my masterpiece where it is right now, and it's perfect.
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah, so to Ruben's point, we're looking at some prototypes now. Once we have them, and essentially Ruben and I just got to go break them, right? We got to figure out when they break, and then we can actually offer
I hear a little bit about what they're saying as far as the overall real estate of the button. It would be, I think it's reasonable to say it would be nice if it was just a little, if the form factor was a little bit smaller.
I don't disagree.
The button itself is I think an appropriate size. It's just the
outer housing.
That housing is by a little bit. I think that would be.
Yeah, and so I don't want to commit to it here on there. That is so the 90-degree is happening. Is the smaller buttoner happening with that 90-degree? We're looking at it. It might be happening. It might not be happening. Right?
Well, you guys heard it here first. Tango Innovations coming out with a smaller button. Write that down.
All right, taking notes.
Stan and the team are going to love me after this. So.
Well, and going back to the cable thing, like we all like, if it can't happen, it will happen. Like you will end up busting the cable or doing something stupid. It'll get snagged on something. So I think, honestly, if I'd have known, number one, we'll definitely start stocking additional cables, and I would always order at least one extra cable. I mean, better to have and not need than need not have. You guys are all retards like me. You're going to end up breaking it. It'll happen.
Amen.
Miller says, curious about the supporting apps. We covered this earlier, Miller, but right now, besides the Boss app, which does do a pretty good job, it also AB Quantum, which is really what you need. And then is there any other apps that are going to pair with this device? Any other ballistic apps that you guys
so there are some apps if they're active of now that are in that applied ballistics suite, and I don't remember the name, and I can send it to you, but essentially they have a mapping app. What is their AB mapping app?
Hold on. I got like 50 of them. Let me pull up. You guys keep going.
So essentially, we can turn that switch on. It's in the pipeline, but one of the features that we're looking at from a hunting application is what is really cool, right? And it also pacifies your ADD. If I'm hunting and I'm hunting whitetail deer or elk and I'm in brutal terrain, well, it's nice to laze that. If you've ever shot an animal past 100 yards, blood trail can be a bitch and a half. But if you can laze that animal and then drop that pin from where you are to a map, right, it makes it a little bit easier. And we're looking at that feature as well.
Onyx Hunt.
See, your button guy was here. It was Daniel Aragon.
I
Daniel,
was the button guy. Yeah, this dude's
Hold
got
on,
an MRAD. This dude's got a Barrett MRAD. And he calls me about. He's like, man,
I'm be honest with you, Daniel. I'm on your side a little bit with this. I think we
barely
can
like a scope.
button.
Nah, I see.
A little bit thinner.
That's funny on the podcast.
That's good. I'm glad.
Oh, yeah. I told you, small community, right? And
yeah.
we're a little family of friends, right?
I wanted to come here and see what you said about the button.
We actually had
that's it.
I was talking shit about Masada Yub on here one time. He just showed up in the comments. It was so weird.
Yeah.
No,
not really.
Oh, I was about to say, are you serious?
No, one of our clients jumped off, created a profile under his name, and tried to pretend like it was him.
That is hilarious.
You guys have a cult following, man.
Right now, Gary, I expect an apology. I'm like, shut up. I haven't given you an apology.
Dude.
Actually, Masada, you send me an email. We'll talk about it over a phone call. I was like, but until then, Boomer, yeah, just stop it.
That's not happening.
Educate me who he was, and I was like, oh, okay.
That's hilarious. That's a cult following, dude. You got some loyal viewers that will go and do the links of that.
We do. We do.
Like just watching some of your videos earlier today, you're like, oh yeah, that's so and so. Usual suspect. It's always there, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
They don't
really
pass any opportunity to talk shit to me, so it's all good.
Look at that. Daniel said, love talking to Rue. Great customer service.
That's
so
right,
even
baby.
if you told him no on the button, he still liked you.
I didn't know. I mean, I literally told him exactly what Marco was saying. It's like, yeah, I mean, we take it and we talk to our customers and we listen to our customers, because we could have things done, in a very short turnaround, but we have to perfect it. And then not only that, we have to proof it, and then we have to mass produce it. Right. And then we have to keep, so it's going to take some time.
Sure.
We do have a lot. I mean, it's a learning process, like any brand new truck that comes out or vehicle. What happens?
You buy a Ford and it dies.
Well, dude, if you're buying a Ford, man, you just need to unsubscribe, unlike, get out of here, dude. No, I'm just joking. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I have a Ford F350, and I agree 100%.
Yeah.
That was the last Ford I will ever buy.
Hey, as long
I
as
had a
it's
rental car. I
square body, baby.
Unhappy with it, but
square
yeah,
body.
I mean that's one of the differences. Kind of, I love to see the shout outs that Rue gets, but what you're dealing with the Tango Innovations, we're not a juggernaut, right? We're not a massive marketing company. We are a laser company. We build a really good laser, and we partner with really good dealers that are in this space to parlay that message and get that momentum out. Where our house is mainly engineers, right? And we are a smaller team that is focused on lasers and nothing but lasers. But the beauty of that is you do get a white glove feel of dealing with a smaller company and the advantages that come with that.
That's
Folks,
right.
I can attest to this because they are such a small company. They had like one demo unit that they were passing around to all the different YouTubers. And I was like, Marcos, I need one of these. Like, man, that thing's scheduled out for like 6 years, bro.
That thing's still kicking. It's still kicking.
Send it to me.
Yeah.
We have 2 units that Gary has stolen from inventory.
Whoa.
That was a miserable process managing that one unit, going from, it started with the first video that came out, then went to a writer. So I'm happy those days are behind us.
You should see our inbox, man. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like you would think this thing just got announced and everybody needs to review it. Everybody.
Good job security for yours truly over here. So.
One thing I will say, folks, and I haven't set this up, I just did this as a demo, but this, I will be running this at the next long range course. This is actually a really awesome idea. If you already have any spotting scope, but definitely a spotting scope that has an accessible cage to it, of course, something like that. and or if you don't have a cage on your spotting scope, I guarantee you there's an aftermarket. But this is a freaking spotting beast right here. You can laze and spot at the same time. Gives you a lot more magnification, especially for you ELR guys that are trying to.
You might want to tell people what that is because they might not know.
If you ever interrupt me again on a live stream, we're freaking done.
Put it in reverse.
But if you're trying to laze targets and spot targets at 1500 and beyond with a 10 power bino, 12 power laser range finding bino, is just not going to do it. And this is a nice setup right here. And this is a Night Force. It's a Night Force compact field spotter. It's one of the best products Night Force makes right now. Go get yours, ParamountTactical.com.
You can get it with the accessory cage already on it.
And we've only bought one with the.
It's a scope.
It's a scope.
It's a scope.
Technically, it's probably a Night Force 7-35 that's been converted to a 6-36. It basically is, but it is very different than the eye relief and everything else is much different. So it's been re-engineered. Hold your horses, bro. Hold your horses.
Man, I can't tell you how many special forces schoolhouse instructors, like all their SF teachers, the other sniper dudes, they leave the schoolhouse. They'll show up with a, I don't know, Leopold Mark IV. I've seen them show up with different Night Force scopes, just with a LRF on top, or their PALS unit. They'll throw that on top, and they're good to go, done.
Yep.
It's in a mount. It's just ready to go.
That Night Force though, that's on my Christmas list because the update grade from the Bushnell that I've been running because that was the only option.
Leopold, baby.
I'll tell you the 6
Tell
to
your wife to come to Paramount. We'll square her away.
The 6 to 36 on this. Given when you need that extra field of view, this is super nice. You're trying to find
in the glass that you go from a Night Force from the Bush. Not shitting on Bushnell, they make some good stuff too, but I'm ready to upgrade from that one. So that's the next one on the Christmas list.
Do you have
your way, Summer?
Do you have the 2 or the 1?
2 or the 1 what?
He's asking about the Bushnell. I don't know. It's got the trimmer reticle in it. Couldn't tell you. So
where'd you get that from? Peasants.com.
That's it. Coresforme.com. I bought it secondhand on Facebook Marketplace.
He bought it on Facebook Marketplace.
Basically, Peasants.com.
Y'all got any more of them Bushnells over there?
Yeah. Well, I've gotten bullied into upgrading a Night Force.
I don't think they even make that.
Marcos, I don't know if you can tell, but we like to joke around.
Hey,
I love it.
Yeah.
Look, Manolo, if you need to come up with creative ideas and ways to spend money, just talk to me. Give me a phone call. We'll get you to 15,000. We'll get you to 15,000 quick. Don't worry about that.
But the form factor on that, I was trying to get to, because it's literally a scope, but they just, I guess, made it a little more solid and better, which is great because they did what we did. They took that extra money and put it into different parts, right? Changing the concavity of the lenses, change the types of coatings that are on the lenses, really looking hard and deep and working with what you have to skin the fat off of what you don't. So look at the form factor of that. Take that.
I love that form factor.
Toss it in your bag, gone. Versus, dude, look at this thing.
You should wait till you see Gary's normal spotting scope.
This one's naked. This is nude right now.
We got a couple of them floating around, but look at this thing.
The Swirl, it doesn't get better than the Swirl as far as optical quality, and I love the electronic.
Electronic reticle that you can turn on and off.
It's super sweet. Especially, you know what? I really like this. Again, when we're spotting for schools, and our courses are pass fail. You want to make sure that you got a good spotting scope and you're not no call. And it also really helps too when you're filming through this at distance too. So this, without a doubt, the Swirls are the best. By the way, we are our Swirl dealer. So if you guys want one of these, we can hit you up.
Think about it like golf clubs.
But like you said, the form factor, if I was still operational, this is the spotting scope that I would want. The form factor, the size, the weight.
Yep.
It doesn't get much better than this. I love that I can throw this down in the pack. I used to carry the Leupold gold rings around. Those are a bit bulky, and what's nice, you throw this down the side of a pack, it pushes out of the way. I definitely, for a field spotter, that's really hard to beat.
For sure.
Yep.
I mean, absolutely. Because now you still have the same capability, you know, that this guy does, but instead of having the, you know, prism, you know, where it has the periscoping effect,
Yep.
right? It just booms straight through. So you're able to cut price there. Then it even comes with its own mount. Like this, they don't even make this anymore. Like this slit kit.
Yeah, and that case is like $700 on the Mark IV, and you can get it from the factory from a.
Yep.
Yeah, this is insurance right here, man. It's like, oh, they don't make this anymore, bro. Here you go.
Yeah,
It's my investment plan.
CFS, and by the way, folks, got a full review on it. But anyways, the CFS, you do have an integrated Arca rail on the bottom. It does come with the different pick rails around the top, as well as M-lock rails, so you can attach a bunch of different stuff. And then you have 1/4 and 3/8 by 24 on the bottom too. So a lot of versatility there. And you know, again,
and you can put your Fire 4000 right on the top.
you can put your
That's
fire.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Got some
Look
cool
at that
pictures
thing.
today from customers.
Look at
running
that thing.
scope with a
Black on black. Ooh, got some nice gray tints in there.
Where's the FDE?
No, Where's the black multicam? Where's the black multicam tape? Where's it at? Bring it here.
Here's a great question. What is the minimum and maximum ranges? I already have a good idea what
4 yards is a minimum.
That's the lowest I've been able to get, 4 yards. So,
and the only way you're able to achieve 4 yards is with our unit, not on any external device. If you're pulling data information to be processed at 4 yards, you're going to get a hiccup. And you're going to be like, what's going on, man? Well, nothing else can process that because their processors are different, right?
Well,
it's not.
If you need a ballistic solution at 4 yards.
I mean, what type of inches are we talking about? I think you know where I'm at.
So what's the max range?
Yeah, so yeah, just like it's in the name.
A lot further you can shoot.
Yeah, so essentially 4,000 on a reflective target in perfect condition. So if you go on a highway overpass and you're lasing reflective highway signature, you'll absolutely be able to get a return like that. When we go into the practical approach, because I don't know a whole lot of people shooting at that, that $4,000 number, but we look at a practical approach. We're looking at 1,500 yards on vegetation. In most conditions, we can get a little bit further than that in good conditions, low mirage, etc. But that 1,500 yard on veg, and then we take it up to steel, or we're looking at like an urban environment, you can get well into that 23, 24, 25K on rock faces, if not better. And then back to that 4K on reflective.
So that's the guarantee.
Highly dependent on conditions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually being conservative on some of those numbers, right? Because I don't want to overpromise, right? Because we have gotten some really cool pictures from people, sending us, 4,000 yards or even surpassing that. But as you know, right, there's more to the story on how they're hitting that far. So the conservative numbers that I would approach is that 1,500 yard on veg. When you're going on steel or big targets, I very much expect to be well in that 2,300 yard range, rock faces, urban, etc. But I mean, essentially, what it comes down to is it's not going to limit your shooting ability, right? Yeah. When I'm shooting a sniper match, and let's say I'm shooting a target, every now and again you get a stage that goes out to a mile, the 1,700. Well, the beauty of it is I got a nice big piece of steel at 1,700, and I'm going to get a return on that.
Hey, Marcos, were you at the Major Land Sniper Cup last year?
No, I didn't.
That's where I seen you from. I was like, I know that dude. I know him.
He sticks out a little bit.
I'll be honest with you, you look like every other bearded dude.
Oh yeah, bro. I'm not gonna say bro vet. It's more like bro dude, shooter guy.
So Colt Comp H-bar says he was able to get 1730 on a 15-inch piece of steel. So
15-inch.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, that sub MOA target, we're pretty happy with what
I threw no numbers out there, not a one. I'll let the customers tell me what it's capable of because I know what it can do.
They just got to find out for themselves.
That's a good stance of any company.
It really is. It really is.
I'm just like, you tell me what it can do, man, because I know what it can do. I know what's in it. I know how it operates. I mean, we took it from like working really good to you have a $15,000 to $10,000 capability for $1,500.
I agree with that.
I
I
mean,
can't get over, folks, what you're getting for the price. And again, if I didn't sell this, I'd be saying the same thing. I'm just telling you, like, compared to one, going back to what we used to get out of the Wilcox Raptor at, 10 plus K.
Wow.
You're getting very close to the capabilities of that device for a whole lot more, or a whole lot less.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is shocking that it's, and again, I was expecting a lot. I had a long conversation with Ray Helms. He was telling me about this unit, and that's when I called you guys and talked about getting a preview model, and that's when I heard it was 47 months out. I was like, just send me one. And
should have just called me, man. Just call me.
Dude, this was before you even got. This is way in the beginning.
But no, it was. Again, I was expecting a lot. I got more than what I expected out of this unit. I think you guys will be really happy with it. So I mean,
I got people texting me orders right now.
Build quality,
for sure, for sure.
Do I think it's like an essential piece of kit? I'm not going to say that. I think it's a really good addition to if you already have a Castrol. If you already have, I do think, I'll just tell you right now, probably doesn't replace range finding binos.
Nope.
Absolutely.
Now here's what I will say. Like, if your budget is under $2,000, I would rather buy this and put this on my optic as opposed to buying cheap laser range finding binos. You're getting a better ballistic solution than you're going to get in like the 6Ks, where you're getting AB light versus a more advanced version of AB. So I do think there's some use cases where this is a better option when it comes to a budget. But if you're a big baller out there, number one, you're definitely our kind of customer, and number two, this is definitely a nice piece of kit to add to all the other Gucci stuff you already got.
We love all our customers, by the way.
Yeah, we love all you guys.
I'm ready to blow some minds. Hey, Marcos, say what you're going to say, and you're about to have some heads pop. Just let me know when you're ready.
I'll be quick. And Gary, you're talking about that as hey, where is that market that we're looking at, or who makes sense for this product? As you're building your arsenal and your equipment that you're looking at. Well, so the name FIRE is actually an acronym that not too many people know. We haven't done the best job marketing, but it stands for Find, Identify, Range, and Engage. And if you look at that process, right, if I'm behind the gun and I'm shooting a match, the first way that I'm finding that target is in my binos. There's some advantages of using binos. I find that target, then I get beyond my gun with higher magnification. I identify it, range it, and then I engage it. So the beauty of that is it streamlines a portion of that process. But I'll be the first to tell you, I'm still using my binoculars in addition to it, because it just strengthens my speed that much more.
Mm-hmm.
But I truly, in my heart of hearts, don't believe one replaces the other. Yeah, they have similar functions. Binos can give me a laser distance and a much bigger field of view. And that Tango can give me a read much faster without having to break position. And which one do I need right now? Right.
Yeah. Well, another essential piece of kit, I think, is also a good spotting scope. So you can buy a good spotting scope and then add this to it, and you kind of have the best of both worlds. So that's another option too. So
that's a very good point.
Like, binos are great. I think everybody should have them, but you should also have a spotting scope. Those do some things, especially if you're shooting, honestly, if you're shooting like 6 mil beyond 700-800 yards, a spotting scope is going to be really nice, or 223, or this is going to be able to see those hits where you're probably going to miss it in a set of binos. So you just got to figure out how you shoot, what you need to prioritize.
What your budget is.
If you're doing field matches and sniper matches, man, this is almost essential, I think.
I'd say that's the majority of our market, right? That field sniper match, it's an unfair competitive advantage, right? When you look at it, doing some preliminary testing, everybody's process is different. But when you're looking at engaging a target, and I still use my binos in field sniper matches, but once I'm in the groove and I'm behind the gun, you're looking at about a 3x in speed, right? If you look at the process between being on a position, let me get my binos, let me lace it, let me wait for that dope. Okay, what is it? Let me get in, apply, engage, and then redoing that over and over, switching back and forth. We're looking at a 3x speed and engagement, sometimes faster if the troop line is in the same array, sometimes a little bit slower if you got to do some other things, but it's astronomically faster.
And that's if you got a good team that actually works together and can find the targets and identify which targets. Like, you can't shoot them if you can't find them. Sorry, dude.
Yep.
Time. Oh, man, what happened, dude? It was like, you
That's never happened
literally,
to me.
you literally got down on 35 power, dude, and you're like, I can't see nothing, man. It's like, I really wonder why. Let's go back to my talking points. Number 1, training problem.
100%.
I'm like,
I'm waiting for my mind to be blown, Rue. What'd you have on that one?
ready to save some money? You ready to get rid of that blue tint out of the 10Ks? Don't even buy them. Buy a pair of 6Ks. Connect them to this. You've got elite.
But the 6K Gen 1s, didn't they have a little bit of a blue tint too?
No, 6K Gen 1.
Negatron.
Or you can just buy the new 10Ks, or better yet,
Vector X.
save a little money, buy the Vector X's. Folks, the optical quality on the Vector X's are freaking money.
Not
and the
only
laser
that,
they got in those kick
bro,
ass.
you can add magnification to that, dude. That is like ridiculous.
100%.
That's my jam.
Yeah,
like targeting, observation, and spotting, like all that. Like that's me. That's all me all day.
Gary does enjoy the Vector X's.
I bet he does.
X's, they really do a good job of answering the solution of that difference between what a spotter and binos can do when you have that
100%.
magnification.
For sure.
All the toys are coming out.
The glass quality.
Dude, we're getting them fired up over here, dude.
On my initial review of the 10K Gen 2s and these, I gave a pretty equally balanced. I'm like, it's kind of a toss up. The more I've used these in more conditions versus the 10Ks, like I'm really at a point to where, to me, there's almost no comparison. The different level of clarity and resolution that you're getting out of the Vectronics is just hard to beat. I'll be honest, I rarely use the range enhancers, but one thing here's a little pro tip, folks. If you're going to buy the range enhancers, which I think are great, make sure if you're going to buy yourself a bino pouch, you buy a bino pouch to accommodate the range enhancers. Ask me how I know.
Dude, you just pulled out like an ASIP battery backpack, man. Like, here we go, man. Oh my God.
Actually got me a nice set of a bino pouch, chest harness, and then I was going to pull these out during the Major Land Sniper Cup, and I had my range enhancers, and I was like, oh, that doesn't fit. Like hanging out the top too far. I was like, oh.
Or you just go to Frank's like stage and your targets are like right in front of you, like 25 yards with a long gun. You're like, why do I have any of this stuff? Like, wow, man. You're so close. You're like aiming like way over the target, and you're like, oh man, how's that hitting? It's like, oh, math, man. Like,
Jeff says we don't have any of that cash. We're just lazy and using Google Earth. Hey, look,
see, dude, I'm telling your audience, you don't have to have a pair of 10Ks to be able to have that capability of a applied ballistic elite.
I'm muting him for a minute.
If you go to sleep,
if you want to hit targets, guys, you got to spend some cash.
Buying hits.
No,
this guy's not invited to the club anymore.
Gonna get you what you need. I'm telling you that right now. I can't stress it enough.
Yeah, we had a guy that came to the XP Long Range Academy last year that had never touched a rifle before. And he took Top Gun.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
The guy from Ireland.
Oh, that's right.
Sebastian?
Was Sebastian Top Gun?
He did one Top Gun in level 2, I think.
That's right.
He didn't have any bad habits. He brought.
He's got 0 training scars. 0.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. He listened. He loved it, and he bought a rifle after.
Lloyd, I just appreciate you not saying a used car salesman. That's cousins too.
Or Ford.
You're the G-Wagon sales guy.
All right. So what else haven't we covered as far as anything on the FIRE4000? What other devices are they compatible with?
Yeah. So as of today, the Garmin 701, 901, Kestrel, and Kestrel variants, and then the Calypso. That's what it's compatible to.
Awesome. That's the next review I need to do is use those in conjunction with the Fortrex. That'll be a good. I was a little disappointed. I was hoping that they would connect with my AB watch here.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna shoot Nick a note on that. To
He's
that
already
point,
working on it right now, I bet.
I mean, he probably calls in. You know, it's more of just a hey, you know, ask for it. We'll put it on the calendar. So right.
I mean, it's a Garmin. It's running AB. I bet it's a firmware update away from being compatible.
It absolutely.
Oh, it totally is.
That's really the beauty of partnering with AB is that you get access to all that portfolio that everybody, all of your customers, all of our friends, all of our customers have already invested in. Right.
Yeah.
The whole thing's just time. Like they just have to take that product, hook it up to their box, because everything has its own language.
Sure.
Everything. Which is exactly why your watch, you know, it's going to have a different Bluetooth language. So talk to Kestrel and then talk to this and talk to that. That's why Kestrel stuff talks to Kestrel stuff, like your HUD. That thing's on lock. It's on lockdown. Like that information isn't going to get out unless.
Yeah, Kestrel screwed the pooch on that. They should have made that a little bit more compatible. Not just with this, but obviously other products too. But that is the nice thing about, again, you know, I'm just glad that to me that was one of the biggest selling features on this is the fact that it's running AB as opposed to geoballistics or any of those other things.
Geo what? Never heard of her.
Exactly.
He's taking notes.
Yeah, and kind of a call out to make, and I'm not throwing stones at anybody. I think the other LRF companies did well, but I can confidently say in that ecosystem that is connected to applied ballistics to quantum, we are, as of today, and including the other ones that are right on the horizon, we are the only one compatible to the other Kestrels, right? So if you look at, I don't want to like negatively sell or anything against it, but that is exclusive to the FIRE4000.
No, I mean that's an important.
You tell the people the truth.
benefit.
They need to know.
That's right. If you can't handle the truth, find another channel, punks.
Look, bro, I'm running around with a murdered vortex, dude. This is my badge of honor, dude. It's like my hog's tooth.
Here's what I will say, Rue, is anybody that complains about the size of your remote, all you got to do is show them that remote.
That's a damn good comparison.
That should actually control like 3 TVs and, you know, your 1991 stereo in your car.
Dude, like
all those things.
This is wild, man. And it's like doesn't attach to anything because it doesn't have a wire. And then I have another battery I have to worry about.
And a Bluetooth connection you got to worry about. And
See,
and the Bluetooth lag time, right?
And you're gonna lose that thing without a doubt.
Oh yeah.
That's probably someone's extra they bought because they lost their first one.
No, it's fine. Nobody's gonna buy those things anymore. So yeah, whatever.
Oh,
hey, what do you need, babe? I'll get it.
Grab that Velcro over there. Let me show you guys something, a little pro tip.
Lord.
And then hit the number 1 on the video switcher, and then
Where's the Velcro?
That Velcro right there. This Velcro, folks, is like that special kind of Velcro.
It's called hook and pile tape. We all know this.
This isn't hook. See, that's the so hit 1 and then like program or something like that, or apply or enter or sure. Yeah, here we go. All right, look at that. All right, so this stuff right here, you can get it at Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever else. It is a hook and pile. It connects to itself. But this stuff is freaking awesome. And what I do like about this, the 3M backing, you can literally, it's like, I don't know, it's like a 50 pounds per square inch. The stuff is stupid strong. But what I do like, I put this on Cerakotes all the time. You can still peel it off, but you're not going to peel it off if you don't want it. Like, it's not going to come off. But man, this stuff is freaking super
rubbery cement. It's like taking carpet that like the old shag carpet or something, but it's like really hard, like it's been there forever, like it, you know, at your aunt's house, and then you take them and put them together, and they do like this, and they just mesh.
That's probably the worst analogy and description I've ever heard of.
That's the best because everybody's going to remember that shag carpet. They're going to remember that.
So when we're talking about this shag carpet, Gary's absolutely right. So if you look at what we include in the box, we include some 3M tape. I'll be the first one to tell you if you're going to use this thing and use it heavy, we have some 3M tape in here, and that was so that we didn't have to get double-sided tape, and we looked at it and said, okay, how do we make sure we don't pull the paint off people's guns, right? And we went with a lighter adhesive. I completely agree with Gary. If you're going to use this thing and run it hard, go get you some heavy-duty Velcro from Lowe's or some double-sided Gorilla Tape, because
That's
all
not
my
even
shit
Velcro. Like, I don't even know what that is, dude. Like, I first started seeing that. It was the real short, like light versions of it. Command strips have it. I mean, it's
Same
very
thing.
it's very little.
Khaki.
What he's got, that's some kryptonite stuff, man. That's some
this stuff, it sticks. Like I said, I have like a I don't know, a 1/2 inch by 1 inch strip on the remote.
That is the way right there.
But it is never, it's not going to just get knocked off easily. I did during my review, I was using the command strips that you guys included into the thing, and that works fine. But it's gonna, if you're doing anything rough with it, if you're carrying your gun around a lot and stuff like that, that stuff's coming off. There's no doubt about it.
No doubt.
For sure.
And then once you peel off that command strip, your remote gets knocked off that command strip or off the gun. It's not going to stick back to it very well. So,
but it will catch itself because it has a cable.
It will catch itself. It will. You're not going to lose it, and it's a very robust cable. It's a very robust connection, which I actually really like.
That thing is long.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what she says.
The spotter setups. Yeah.
Everybody's waiting on it, dude. Who was going to say it, dude?
Of course, my wife started giggling right away.
Yes, she did. I was like, oh.
Man.
What did Summer looks what? What did Jeff say about me?
Ooh,
Summer looks angry. Gary must have appropriated more stock for testing.
That's just it's just my RBF, Jeff.
Yep.
I don't think he knows what that is.
You got to buy more stuff, Jeff, so that Gary can afford his habit.
That's right.
Yeah.
My wife calls it a fuos. So
what is
fuck
that?
You with a smile.
There you go.
You with the smile.
See?
I'm like, oh shit.
He's that good. Is she from the South as well?
What it really is, folks.
Hold on. Is she from the South?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
both of us.
She got the bless your heart going to I'm from,
oh, bless your. I'll pray for her. No.
Yeah, I'm from Georgia. I know.
We're both from Gulf Shores, Alabama. We grew up together. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
Were you guys related?
I mean,
we did get asked one time in Alabama.
Roll Tide, you know what I mean?
Brother and sister.
We were literally in the McDonald's
in southern
weren't
Alabama.
Married yet.
No.
So we were like making out.
Yeah, you know.
And anyways, the lady tapped us on the shoulders like, "Are y'all brother and sister?"
Are you brother and sister? We're like,
damn.
We should have said yeah.
Well, ma'am, we come here to get away from our family.
There you go. At the McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
No, it's funny.
Dude, that's terrible. Man.
I was gonna say something earlier. It was really important, and you interrupted me.
I know, with all my
damn it
fluff.
Dude, she even tapped you. She said, "Hold on,
hold on. I got a point
to make." This is a big interruption.
Yeah.
Is she from the South?
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank God we asked that. Thank God that we would have.
Well, the boys know.
Well, Gary says every time I talk to anybody from the South, my full accent comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
That's how it is, man.
She'll just be talking normal. The phone rings. Oh, hello. What are we doing? We're just sitting around snapping some peas. You know, like, no, we're not. No, we're not. I don't know what just happened, but
drinking a mint julep on the front porch.
One time a customer called and I was down here with Gary working. We were both working down here. And I hang up the phone after I get done talking to the customer. I look across the room and Gary's like, "Where was that person from?" And I was like, "Tennessee." He's like, "I could tell."
Yeah, because 2 of y'all came out. I only get the one, but come on.
Well, all right. Well, what else? What else haven't we covered, gents, on the Tango Fire 4000?
You know, we did pretty good full circle, right?
Yeah, I
So
think
to
so.
do some overview of the features that it has. The one thing I don't think we talked about is maybe haptic feedback that's on there, but your review touches it.
For sure.
Oh, I know. My review didn't touch shit on haptic feedback. I don't even think I knew that there was haptic feedback.
There
Well,
is.
let's get into that.
Whoa!
See, that is why I had haptic feedback written down in my.
Don't give this to your
super
wife. You might not get it back.
So,
Alrighty then.
you know, a good segue into the vibrating function of what it has, and if you go ahead and put it on your screen and get it set up. But essentially, Gary, as you've seen, that we have a very fast feedback on this device, right? Roughly 0.4 of a second. One of the benefits of haptic feedback is it vibrates as it gives you a laze, so that you feel that vibration. And you know, it does one of two things. It says, A, come up off the gun, we got a good laze and a good feedback. And then B, the thing what it tells you is that as you're, let's say you're bracketing a skyline target and you're lasing and you feel a feedback, right? Well, now I took a mental picture with my eyes of where that reticle was on the target, where that vibration was. So I know as I'm testing a target, bracketing left, bracketing right, up, down, I know exactly where that laze actually took that snapshot. As I'm lasing an obscured target, a skyline target, a harder target to laze. So, Rueben, why don't you walk Gary through on how to turn on haptic feedback on and off?
Easy
So
peasy.
it's on. I don't know that I've ever really lased without the remote. You're not going to feel it in the remote, right?
So
No,
essentially, the testing that we've done, if you're
entire
clipped into
rifle.
a tripod, depending on like if I have a lighter gun, like a gas gun here, I'll feel it. If I'm on a position, I'll feel it. If I have a 25-pound, heavy bolt gun, maybe not, right? Because it's not going to shake that whole gun.
I still feel it.
Yeah.
Like I got a 7x35 in a full MTU contour MPA, dude. Curtis Custom Action. Still feel it. Boom.
Yeah, it's really going to be positional, but I think the bigger piece is once you start looking for it, right, it's easier to pick up. So we actually toned down that haptic feedback for battery consumption because, essentially it's just a motor or not a motor really, but a switch that you can tune up or down, but it costs a lot of battery. So originally we had it where,
Now,
but
can you change that haptic feedback?
No, so that is set from the factory from us.
Gotcha.
So once we put that control in the unit, that's the setting that it's on.
Well, it's too many options because there's no options with it right now, and guys were creating faults. They were creating a fault, like making this thing fail, and we didn't know that. They're like, matter of fact, there's a stupid article about that. What's that company?
Dude, I don't even remember the name of that company.
Site Lock, those dudes. So these guys get on the hide, right? And they're like, well, when I press it, it won't give me the second range when I go back to ABI from ABE and then back to AVE. Real weird stuff, man. I'm like, what are y'all doing on the range, man? Like, why are you doing all this crazy stuff? Me and Marcos could not. Marco, we couldn't.
Oh my God, we spent about 13 hours.
2 weeks, dude.
So to kind of get to the end of that point so that the users here on there know, is this unit is faster than a Kestrel substantially. So if you're in a scanning function, and in which ways it's been rectified with quantum, but if you were in a scanning function and connected to ABE, you will essentially outrun that Kestrel. You will give the Kestrel 30 commands, and the Kestrel is trying to compute number one, number two, number three, whatever target you're on, and you've been on target number 30. So eventually you just overload that Kestrel. But I mean that's a very minute piece, and what it comes down to is the speed of the unit.
Oh yeah, that's more for advanced shooters is external mode. Everybody's like, well, I hook it to external and then I'll shoot it once and I'm like, okay, now everything's connected. Then I go to internal and then load everything over there. I'm like, stop right there, dude. Why did you even go on external? Like, what? Do you even know what that is for?
I mean, it's essentially kind of unpack that to the users. External mode is connecting to a more complex, system. If you want to run, it's really for sniper instructors for the most part is what that feature is. So Gary, you might find some value in using that. I'd say the majority of shooters, civilians like myself that are just running matches, there's not a whole lot of advantages connecting an ABE, but you still have that feature.
There's primarily disadvantages, I would say. So for those of you guys that weren't here earlier or didn't fully get the explanation, if I have this hooked up to my Kestrel, I move to external. Now the Kestrel is doing all of the computation of that ballistic solution. The problem is I could have it on one profile here in certain settings set in here. Now, if I'm on a different profile in the Kestrel or I don't have my settings correct, now I'm getting bad data sent to this gun or data from a completely different gun. So I do think that's a complication that you probably need to try to minimize and just always be looking for that ABI, which I think is just a better way of doing it all the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Essentially, I mean, the only reason that we instruct people to go to ABE is so you can make that first handshake with your Kestrel, right? You can make that first handshake with your Garmin, first handshake with whatever product that you want to make a handshake with. Once they remember each other, once they have said, hey, we are friends, and that Bluetooth key has been connected, go back to ABI and never touch ABE. It's a more complex setting that really has a niche value to sniper instructors.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're literally turning this into a HUD that has a laser on it.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing. But you have the opportunity, and this is what makes it like advanced, is you have to slow down because now this has to talk to this, or it has to talk to this. And think about it like this, guys. When you're on the range and you're like, well, I'm gonna shoot out to 1200 right after you zero, because that's exactly what we do. And then you like press and hold, man, scrolling down. You're getting like black screen, or white screen, and you're waiting for it to populate, right? Now, that's happening, but you're also trying to do it back and forth over Bluetooth 5.0, and it's gonna take longer. And guys are just mashing it, dude.
Point, we have a very fast, return time 0.4 of a second. Well, the processing speed to another device is 4 seconds and that's a Bluetooth processor on the other products in the portfolio. So that's what he's referring to. But I think we're probably getting way too in the technical weeds on that.
No, people need to know this.
Yeah, I think it's good information. And again, not only what the people that are seeing it now, but when people come back and they're looking for information on it, this will be just another resource. Hopefully
it's been put in the green book
in between the informational tidbits that we've thrown down there. We got Air 419 in here. Freaking
do the Meltons ever sleep? They're animals.
There's been a cup of coffee and about 3 C4 energy drinks today.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
And a shout out to those guys. That is the #1 mountain that we recommend.
Oh, yeah.
We did
100%.
Well, we just had Craig Arnzen from Area 419 on here last night. I'm sure that's who that is.
I mean, look at all this nice cable management they do for this.
Oh, I know. It fits perfectly for our cord. $15. Oh,
just saying.
Ticket.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did we just become best friends? Another pitfall is pressing this button and holding it, because why would you want to press and hold this?
Well, you're going to turn it off.
There you go. So what process do you think it's going to start? And this is all you sniper hide guys who are like big fuds on the range and have no clue what you're doing with your fat fingers.
Your big sausage fingers just mashing things.
Yeah. And they're just, I'll get a phone call and I'm like, you're an engineer, aren't you? He's like, well, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. This is going to take a while. Doing too much. Look, press and release. You're either going to feel the haptic come back or not. If you don't get it come back, you didn't hit the target. If you feel it come back, you got a positive return. Simple as that. Don't press and hold, because when you press and hold, it's starting to kill systems within side of it. And the first thing to go is the ballistic calculator. So the ballistic calculator is the first thing to shut down on this thing, which is why you can still get a range, but you won't get a ballistic calculation on it. There's that.
Turn half the unit off.
Yeah.
The easy way around that is you don't press and hold the button unless you
No.
It's just like a computer. You can't unplug that cord. It's got to turn off segments of it in a particular order.
Oh, yeah. Dude, SiteLock heard about that, and they just ran with it, dude. Made some blog thing. Oh, there's crazy stuff going on. I'm like, guess what? No, there's nothing wrong with it. It was user induced, and you look like a real turd now.
Well, apparently,
cool, man.
Daniel said that they removed those articles a couple of days ago. So.
Oh yeah, fake news,
Very
man.
cool.
I don't even know. What do they make? Like Kleenex napkins or something?
I've never heard of Sightlock.
Tell us how you really feel. Tell us how you really feel, Rue.
I never heard of her.
Yeah, well,
I'm you don't have
look
to.
up Sightlock. Dan is asking, is it possible with AV Quantum as a conduit? I tried this. I tried multiple different ways to basically link like my watch to AV Quantum. Basically, yeah, as far as I found, there wasn't a way. Is there a way to link those devices by, with, and through other apps?
Yeah, so that daisy chain concept of going
wow, that's a lot.
Something else, essentially, no, and by design, right? So whatever device is hooked up to it last, that is the one that's getting priority. So
is that SIGHT or SITE?
I think it's SITE. I think. Oh, let me look that up.
It's not. Google's not being friendly.
Oh yeah, they probably probably went out of business by now.
Company. I don't even want to give them breath because they're just so.
No. I'm throwing all the heat, man. If you're gonna go by like unfounded hearsay about a company that we don't even know you and you don't know us, you're gonna be like, oh well, so and so said this and blah 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 about a company.
It would have been a professional courtesy to give you guys a call and just confirm or deny that information. I mean,
I'd agree, right? And we actually reached out to him to try to say, hey, let's have a conversation here. You're operating on some bad intel, but
yeah, what did we do to you?
If you don't have any haters, you're doing something wrong. So.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
That's a good point.
That's right. All you hater peasants.
And that's it. All the poors, like getting those Bushnell spotters on Facebook Marketplace.
All you poors with your Arkin.
That's an awesome spot and scope. I'll be the first one to tell you that's a good spot and scope. That's what the LSS Gen 2. That's what it is.
I got that Night Force on my Christmas list, but So Gary Summer, what other questions do you have for us that we want to give?
I think that covered it all.
Yeah, you guys have answered
over there in the comments. If you guys got any questions, they've been on this show with us for 2 hours.
One of our good customers that came on late did ask, is the 90-degree cable available yet? It is not. It is something that they're in development on.
Yeah.
All right. So the statement, the end state, the big takeaway. What is this?
Amazing.
This is it's okay, right? This was
the hook.
Wrong.
This is a simple solution to enable people to take information that is readily available and put it in a convenient package, right? You want to be able to laser target dependably and get information that you can trust. So we took it, put it into a package, got rid of all the stuff, gave it those Ozempic, lost all the weight, got rid of all the stuff you don't need, and made literally an affordable product that works every single time. And it will, because we just leveled the playing field. Playing field's leveled. So what are the excuses now? Training. That's what we're coming into now. But we're here for our guys. We're always like anybody that I talk to, like I take that extra time with them and I'm out troubleshooting with them, with my rifle, with my spot and scope, with my demo unit. And I'm there with them and we go through it together, step by step by step by step. You name me a company that you can even get a hold of in the same day. We get email, text, or phone call. I'll even video chat with you, just like we are now.
I know one. There's one that I'm aware of.
What?
Paramount Tactical Solutions.
Talk about
I had a guy call me today.
We do phone calls and I've done freaking many a video chats.
I answered the phone today and the guy was like, "Oh my God, a human actually answered."
Yeah.
I may not answer the phone every time because I'm on another call, but it is true.
AI, man, it's AI, dude.
I think Rueben is
are you a human?
I am a
Are
human.
you?
Will you guys help?
That OEM perspective, that really is our strategy. Is that if you have challenges with the device, we want to be the first to know, and Ruben's going to be that first quality gate to help give some training, give support, because that is. I mean, this is a complicated concept, right? Shooting 800 yards is very doable, right? And that's our goal, to make it more doable. But sometimes they just need somebody, an expert like Rueben, to talk to a little bit to get them back up to speed. So
I'm a expert. No, I'm just joking. This thing was literally, it's so simple. You are tripping on your own shoelaces, trying to, there's no like crazy buttons and all. You're making stuff up and doing all these extra things as, you know, a purchasee on the range, that you're like, oh, this is going on. And then this dude comes walking over, he's hovering over, what's going on, dude? And you're like, I don't know, man. Then y'all come up with this, like, another dude come on over, and it's like this whole thing's going on. And I'm like, I get this phone call and I hear them in the background, and they're trying to, like,
well, you spent that money on that thing and it don't work, and I
you know, put an old hot tool on it, man. Yeah, whatever, dude.
yeah.
And I'm like, look, go away from them. Like, me and you need to just talk. And then we get through it. And he's like, dude, that makes, why was I doing all this extra stuff? I'm like, I don't know why you're even in ABE mode, like, at all. Like, like, stop doing that. Stop, quit, stay in ABI and rock and roll, dude. Run this thing. It's the V8 that will keep going, and it won't stop.
Well, and like you touched on a minute ago, at the end of the day, folks, like no equipment is going to replace training, knowledge, and skill. Like there's nothing going to replace that. So go sign up for XP Long Range Academy. Come train with us. We'll got you set up. You don't even need to buy a rifle. We got you covered on that. Come use one of our loaner guns, and I'm telling you, you'll leave knowing what you're doing. So that's really what it comes down to.
That level of confidence is just ridiculous.
Yep. 100%. Well, listen, guys, man, we really appreciate you guys coming on and being so free and charitable with your time and knowledge. We really appreciate it. If any crazy new Wazoo stuff coming out besides FDE and 90 degree.
Yes. So, I mean, to kind of give you a tidbit to wrap it up on what we have in the pipeline on our portfolio, these are, so no dates, right? But we are working on prototypes actively. Essentially, we have the FIRE4000 that you guys have with 90 degree cable we talked about, FDE. But we're also looking at some integrated LPVOs where we can take a smaller version of a FIRE4000, integrate it to an LPVO, and then get a ballistic solution to be illuminated in the reticle. We got to find the right way to do that because we are not a glass company, we're a laser company. So we're looking at partnering with companies that are glass companies, right? So we can have the best in both class, and doing some other cool integrated products where you can have a laser in that, because it just takes one step further to where now it can be the same device. It's not going to replace the FIRE4000. It's going to be for that closer engagements. It's an LPVO, right?
Right.
And then next year, so not this year project, but next year we are looking at a 1550 laser model of an advanced fire that's using a 1550 diode with IR capabilities. So
it's going to have all the stuff everybody's been inquiring about. It's going to be your typical, like, I do everything on the range guy. It's back up, man. Like, it's one of those. Hey, but this right here is going to be the flagship.
But it's going to cost more too, right?
Astronomically. So to put in perspective, the laser diode for a 1550 is damn near the cost of a FIRE4000. Just that laser diode going from a 905 to a 1550.
And that
a little bit of an
diode,
exaggeration.
That diode's about that big, man. It's literally,
But yeah, it is going to be a more expensive product. It's going to be for a smaller. It's going to be for the guy that can afford the PVS 30s and the 14s and et cetera. So probably your customer, you're in Summer's customer, more, some LEO contracts, things like that. But that'll be probably teased right before SHOT Show. So.
Nice.
Awesome.
Will you guys be at SHOT Show? Do you know, or?
So, that's in the works right now. We will be there if we're going to have a booth. We don't know yet, right? We're still figuring that out. So.
You don't need a booth.
Yeah,
I don't want a booth, if I'm being honest. I don't want to.
I agree.
I don't know that. From a business standpoint, I think everything that you really need to get done can definitely be done without a booth. I think a booth at SHOT Show are basically just flexes. I don't know how. Anyways, well, listen, guys, we really appreciate you coming on. Seriously, it means a lot to us. I think it means a lot to customers. So thank you for sharing all your information. And yeah, folks, if you haven't done so already, make sure you like, subscribe, all those good things. We got a lot more content coming out. I'll definitely be doing additional content on the Fire 4000 coming up, so stay tuned for that. I just finished shooting some more footage today and more testing on the range. I always want to call it the Range Master, the Rangecraft today. So I think you guys will like that upcoming video. But until next time, stay armed, stay ready. We'll talk to you soon.